Ancient Mesopotamia, the Sumerians, and an unknown king that may prove we ain't the first game in town. Let's get to it. Antediluvian, from Latin, anti meaning before, and diluvium meaning the flood, a reference to the biblical flood of Noah's Ark and the period of time that preceded it. Now, the Antediluvian age has always been regarded as a time of legend, filled with myths and symbolism meant to convey an underlying spiritual message. But here's the thing, that's a modern day interpretation defined by modern day words that didn't exist 1,000 years ago, let alone 4,000 years ago. So, instead of assuming that our ancient ancestors are a bunch of goddamn liars, let's assume they weren't and that what they wrote down was a literal account of what took place. Could we actually prove that the age of the Antediluvians was real? Well, exploring this new connection, I think we can. Let's head over to the cradle of civilization in ancient Mesopotamia, check out the Sumerians, and take a look at their kings list, more specifically the Well-Blundell Prism, which dates back to around 1800 BC. Now, as is the case with the book of Genesis in the Bible, the Sumerian kings list also chronicles a list of antediluvian kings that lived before the flood. And, just like those found within Genesis, they too lived very long lives. However, the Sumerian kings list predates Genesis by nearly 1,500 years and chronicles a king that sounds eerily similar to Noah, yet no one seems to know about. King Ziusudra, who is listed on the Well-Blundell Prism as the final king before a great flood swept over the land. And, just like Noah, who lived to be 950 years old by the way, Ziusudra had a pretty epic story to tell as well, known as the Epic of Ziusudra, which is found on a small clay fragment dating back to around 1700 BC. And, just like Noah, Ziusudra, which translates to life of long days, ruled for 3,600 years when the god Enki, who was displeased with the god's decision to destroy humanity, warns Ziusudra of an impending flood and instructs him to build a boat, I'm not making this up, which he does, surviving the flood and earning eternal life. Now, other than the obvious, why is this connection so critical? Well, because one completes the other. Let me explain. The origins of the Sumerian people to this day are unknown. They seem to be related to another people, the Ubayyads, who date back to around 5000 BC, but other than that, we have no idea where they came from. Yet they appear around 3000 BC, and with the flick of a switch, they instantly started humanity's first known civilization, complete with structures, city-states that are governed by humanity's first set of laws, and innovations such as our first written language in cuneiform, the wheel, agriculture, metallurgy, astronomy, taxes, schools, advanced mathematics. Goddamn time itself was created here with the innovation of a base 60 system, which divided a year into 12 months, a week into 7 days, and so on, with no evidence of gradual progression, no precursors, or any explanation of just how in the hell the Sumerians obtained this knowledge. But what if we're looking at this the wrong way and the Sumerians weren't the first civilization, they were actually the last civilization rebuilding, which if true, not only validates the stories from the book of Genesis, but gives us an actual physical location with actual physical evidence that proves the myths were real and the Sumerians were the last of the Antediluvians. And this is just the beginning of what could be an epic journey, because now we have a starting point. And if that's a journey you'd like me to take, hit that like button, subscribe for the sequel, and leave me a comment letting me know if this should be another 3 minutes or less video, or something a little bit more in depth. As always, I appreciate your time, and I'll see you on the next one.